Good morning, everyone. It is June 1st. We made it through another month, but I'll be honest, we ended it with a bit of some rocky weather. Eyes, thank you so much for the um, great name suggestions for today's talk, but I had to go with C3. Oh no. Because that's exactly how I feel looking at, their earnings last night and their price performance today in pre-market. It is pretty rough. So hopefully, I don't know how bullish you guys all were, but down 18% is nothing to sneeze at. Plus IV crush if you guys are trading options. It's pretty much a done deal for anyone with even the most in the money put or call. We did have a talk on it though yesterday, led by the very amazing Rylar. I think yesterday around 4 or 5 p.m. He took the charge there, and we did. Oh, here he is now. How was last night's talk?
The AI stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, it it was as expected. Everybody in the chat was counting how many times AI was mentioned, and I think we lost track after 50, and people were taking shots, it sounded like. But yeah, they kind of went through their expectations and why they're falling short, and it just sounded like a lot of just excuses, but nothing too impressive to me.
Do you think people are still believers? C3 after all this?
It sounds like people are gonna chase anything AI, and I mean, I think it makes sense to be bullish long term on them, but short term, I see a lot of up and down.
Right now, it's looking like just a lot of down. So
yeah, yeah, and unfortunately, there was a couple people that came into the chat, like the main chat, like a day or two ago, saying, "Hey, got to get on calls. This is the next NVIDIA," and I was saying, like, don't get too cocky, and look what happened.
Districts is saying that. Sorry, come again, Gino?
I said there is going to be a lot of volatility, and there's a funny story that came out of New York yesterday. There was some lawyer that used ChatGPT to create his legal brief for a case where his client was suing Avianca Airlines, and the judge called him out on. He said these legal cases that ChatGPT was quoting in the legal brief were inaccurate, and he said they don't even exist. So the lawyer kind of threw the judge kind of threw the lawyer out. So score one for ChatGPT.
One of them for ChatGPT?
Well, they're getting rid of the lawyers.
Oh yeah, fair. Yeah. Although note to self, then double check the work that comes out of AI.
Absolutely.
But Vistix was saying 90% of investors have no idea what C3 AI does. Yeah, what do they do?
Well, they were talking big game about how they have government DoD contracts, which I think is going to be a very good thing to have under their belt, but a lot of that's not going to probably take effect until 2024 or 25. So I don't know if now's a good time to invest in them yet.
The Palantir model. Am I wrong? Is this literally not just Palantir, but for AI?
Yeah, I think so. I think they just said the word AI more times than they explained what they're doing.
I believe it. All right, Skal, get on up here and tell us what we don't know. And Vistrix, buying ChargePoint today. Any thoughts on ChargePoint? Vistrix, come up and feel free to talk about why you're buying it. It was why today? Why now? Oh, 901 function. I was just talking about Vistrix was asking about it, so figured I'd open up the conversation. You can feel free to come up here and talk about ChargePoint as well, if that's of interest to you.
I was just going to talk about China starting to dip its foot back into cryptocurrency now that it looks like the U.S. is cracking down on it. China's starting to reopen Bitcoin purchasing to its citizens.
It's interesting in that sphere.
The pendulum of China's banning crypto swinging back temporarily. I don't know. I don't think crypto prices move anymore with China banning or allowing things. I think that meme cycle is over.
Yeah, you're mostly correct. I mean, up until 2020, Bitcoin movement was decorrelated with the NASDAQ, and after 2020, it's been correlated with the NASDAQ. So it's been treated as a risk on tech assets since 2020.
Is there any truth to people calling it digital gold now?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's a pretty accurate descriptor, wouldn't you, Scald?
No, not even close.
I'd agree.
Not even close.
I mean, all the crypto experts seem to say that, but I haven't heard like a really good reasoning behind it.
That is the most horrible description of Bitcoin you could ever have.
Okay.
You can always mine. You can always mine more gold. You can't mine more Bitcoin. Just to fix the supply.
Yeah, there's asteroids of gold floating around in our solar system, and not so with Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't exist anywhere else in the universe except for Earth. Although Bitcoin is the first currency that will work throughout the universe as is. Having said that, the big difference between Bitcoin and gold is that you don't have to hire a security company to protect your assets. All you need is a cold storage wallet and be the master of your own key, and you can manage your own Bitcoin handsomely. Whereas gold, you always have to find a place to secure it and keep it safe, and it's hard to transport. Bitcoin is so far beyond digital gold that calling it digital gold is an insult.
And then I guess today we have the potential of the debt ceiling officially getting raised. You know, the bill passed the House, so now it's going to go through the Senate, and then market should, for no particular reason, take off.
Well, there's another bill that you got to watch in there. It's separate from the debt ceiling, but it's being voted on at the same time, and that is to reinitiate student loans with 3 years of back interest payments. It's already gone through the House. If that goes through the Senate and makes its way into being a law, you're going to see a huge constriction on discretionary spending in Gen X households, millennial households, and Gen Z households, which their spending are some of the main drivers of the service-based economy right now. If that happens, it pretty much guarantees a recession.
Haven't we had a guaranteed recession for the past 2 years?
I mean, yeah, but this one is like, this one it'll be, I mean, you just look at the math, man. Like, this one is guaranteed to happen. And it's guaranteed to happen within about 6 months from it going into effect. So if it goes into effect tomorrow, it would be like November, right? If it goes into effect in 3 months from now, it would be, basically probably January to February of next year, right?
I don't disagree, but I think, does that necessarily mean to go short on the market?
Well, I think the debt ceiling has been priced in. I think the debt ceiling being resolved was priced in already, and the run up on the SPY that we had earlier in the week was the result of McCarthy and Biden announcing that they had come to an agreement over the weekend. So I don't really expect much of a run up in SPY as a result of the vote last night and the debt limit deal being reached.
So keep in mind, the last time we had a debt ceiling thing go to very late hours, 3 days later, the U.S.'s credit was actually downgraded, and it resulted in SPY dropping significantly. So that's what you want to look for. Is it going to impact the credit?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm expecting, is that, like, if you reach your debt limit on your credit card, then the credit reporting agencies are going to ding your credit rating because you've maxed out your credit card. That's one of the negative things that can happen on your credit report. I see no reason why the U.S.'s credit rating should not get downgraded, given the agreement that they have with raising the debt ceiling. I mean, essentially, it puts an additional $12,000 debt burden on every man, woman, and child in America today. So congratulations, you just got $12,000 more debt you never knew you had.
But you do bring up an interesting point about whether or not the recession will actually lead to a decline in the stock market. Because we've seen like recessionary activities for the last several months, yet markets, equity markets are not reflecting that. And I think the biggest thing here to look at is consumer debt, which has just skyrocketed over the last 6 months. So basically the economy is currently being kept propped up by Discover, MasterCard, and Visa is really what's happening.
So calls on credit card? Are they overbought?
Yeah, I mean, in credit card processors, they should be doing pretty well.
If we're talking about a potential recession, you would eventually, would they be the first one to do puts, or no? You'd want to go for more discretionary spending first, right?
Well, this whole time I've been bullish on consumer staples and especially healthcare, and not because it's been going up necessarily, just because it's been surviving. Because like I've been comparing healthcare to like the healthcare indexes to SPY, and it's been going up and down. Like there's been volatility, but it's something that's very recession resistant. So like I'm just kind of using it as a way to, because I don't necessarily believe in going short because it usually blows up in my face, but I'm bullish on a lot of healthcare companies right now.
Hey, good morning, you guys. Another thing would be is the business debt is at an all-time high, wouldn't you say, with all the money they gave out? I mean, I know they got at cheap interest rates, but they got to pay it back. And that's another overhead they didn't have before. So we still got the same problems before COVID. So now we're coming out of COVID, we still have those same exact problems.
Yeah, and there's also been a huge backlog in hospital construction, and obviously because like people are still getting sick and overweight, like those are problems that aren't going away just because of a recession. So that's another reason I'm going long on that stuff.
No, that's a good play, because you're thinking, what you need. What you need to survive. And unfortunately, fast food is one of them. People think that, so that might be another play. But yeah, the more we go into this recession, once it starts.
I let me see if I can find it, but I posted a chart a couple months ago. If you were to hold a portfolio of just 50-50 McDonald's and United Health, it just goes straight up in like a 45-degree line. Let me see if I could grab that.
Yep, and then throw some cigarettes in there.
Yeah, cigarettes, booze, and alcohol. Cigarettes, booze, and fast food are the staples of any good recession. And then the healthcare is right there to take care of you.
Yeah, that's true, Gino, for sure, brother. I mean, whatever makes you feel good when you're not making no money and you're feeling poor, you're gonna go to whatever makes you feel good, comfort.
So, there's two things that are happening today. For all the gay bears, happy Pride Month. And then today is also the official start of hurricane season. And I know that Loose Ventures had this play last year, and I'm kind of looking into it. Generac generally does really good, especially if there's a bad hurricane, there's a huge run up. So I was looking at some of the calls. I was looking at the November expiry, looking at the 150 strike price.
Do we think the debt ceiling resolution could have a deflationary effect? Could reduce inflation?
The unlikely. The government spending accounts for around 12% of economic activity, and now we're also having to use a lot of the money from the debt to repay previous debts, so making interest payments and stuff like that on previous loans, and it shouldn't have too much of a inflationary or deflationary impact at all. It's there will be pressure to raise interest rates though, because of the likelihood of the U.S. credit rating being downgraded. It's going to make repaying the debt more expensive, but I don't think it's going to affect like the economy.
Thank you, people in the chat, for giving the ticker. I forgot to look that up again.
Well, I guess the things that they're cutting have expenses or benefits directly to individuals, which is maybe one of the reasons that they have the inflation happen to begin with. Is people now have more money in their pockets because they're not spending their loans, putting it on their loans, or they're getting emergency food. They can spend it in other spots. So now you take all that away. That's less. I would think that would have a deflationary impact, a ripple effect.
It depends. I mean, I heard some figures saying that one of the things that's being cut is like a benefit that amounts to around $6 a day for the people that are receiving it. And cutting out $6 a day, I don't think is going to have a major deflationary impact.
I guess I was thinking that through COVID, a lot of the workers have benefited through higher wages and a more, labor market that's more beneficial to them, plus all the benefits that they've got out of COVID. Now that's been stripped away with higher interest rates, so expenses in everybody's pockets are higher. More expenses, they have less money to spend on other things, and then that should bring down labor costs too.
Thinking that people are going to be so desperate to pay off their loans that they'll take lower wages than they've been sitting out for.
The jobs report came in this morning. The non-farm employment came in pretty hot this morning. So there's still, from that standpoint, I think there's still a lot of inflationary pressure. I think the report was off by like 100 almost.
Well, one of the biggest things you can do for your economy is increase wages for the workers, and when you do that, your economy goes up, right? Because everybody's got more money to spend now. The stock market doesn't like that, right?
No, the biggest thing for the economy is to increase productivity, because that does more to bring down inflation than interest rates do. So, like, instead of 10 people competing for one product. If you have 10 products and everyone can buy one, then it'll bring the price down of those products. So productivity and labor are the key to increasing or reducing inflation.
So lower wages or higher wages would impact inflation negatively.
To some extent, yeah.
So if they can pinch the wages, which is kind of what they're trying to do with the Fed crushing everybody on loans, and then now, taking away just basic living benefits, that's going to be a double whammy, I think. You're going to have some, a lot more desperate people, which is good for my portfolio.
It remains to be seen. I don't think it's going to be this magic cure-all pill that people paying off their student loans are going to finally save the economy and stop inflation.
I'm an example too. Like I have $50,000 in student loan debt. 10K is not really going to change that much.
Yeah, but what this proved was any type of loan forgiveness is gone. The economy, the state, the judges, the court says no, you cannot have any loans forgiven no matter what, which is exactly what the stock market wants.
Yeah, right.
But
I mean, it's all
that's
capitalism.
it's going to impair cash flow. Once it starts affecting consumer cash flow, and you start to see people like not buying the newest iPhones, they got to make their student loan payments. The market's tune on that's going to change real quick.
Which circles back to my play. You're not going to buy the latest iPhone, but you're going to get that. You're going to get those drugs that you need from the pharmacy.
But you've got a massive infrastructure rebuild that you need to have. That's where all the jobs are going. That's still got to go. And then what you can do is take away the other side. There'll be jobs on the industrial side, but there won't be any... I'm confusing myself now.
I mean, given the retirement of the baby boomers, I think there's going to be many jobs to be had for people for a long time to come.
I also read that there's more millennials than baby boomers. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's some metric I've seen.
In the workforce, or like more millennials where? Just in general?
There's more millennials now that are entering the age, like in their mid-30s, than baby boomers retiring. So, I mean, this is what I read. I'd have to pull up the actual article, but given that, like, we should technically be in a secular bull run for the next 10 years or so, but obviously we're experiencing things that are interrupting that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The stuff that we've had for the past 2 years, a lot of that was driven by the supply chain disruptions due to COVID and everything else. And, barring that, I think we would have seen a pretty gradual uptick in the economy and growth. And I think we're just now getting back on track with that. And even I think even Jerome Powell hinted at the fact that what he's seeing in the labor market with low unemployment, he said that they might need to change their perspective on requiring a certain amount of unemployment in order for the inflation to be brought down, given what they're seeing in the recent data. I think
ultimately, the Fed wants to. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, ultimately, I guess I view the Fed as they want to literally crush wages. If they could do that and nothing else, if they could reduce wages with increasing the inflation, that's what they want. They don't really care if the economy is doing well. They just want to make sure that workers are doing shitty.
Well, no, that's not what the Fed said. Jerome Powell said they want to have reasonable growth, 2% growth, and they want to have full employment. That have it. But have it to stabilize. I mean, ultimately, the way that inflation is calculated, inflation is going to end up coming down. Because if it's been going up year after year exponentially, right, it's been growing year after year, at some point you're going to get to the point where if you had 8% inflation in 2022, and then you have the same amount of inflation in like not 8% inflation, but the prices remain the same in 2023, all of a sudden inflation sort of stabilizes, right?
You've just had everybody's costs for living has increased. So everybody's food has gone up 20%. That's not going to go down. So now you've just crushed them from their loans, because now their mortgages are 5 times the interest rate costs that they were. Keep that for a little while and you'll completely crush them into dust.
Well, but the other side of that is they're getting jobs. I mean, those things are not a problem.
They're getting jobs in industry because they need it. The U.S. needs the industry. They're not going to be able to stop that, right?
Did you say that wage growth helps with inflation? Because it's actually one of the main causes of it.
That's right. Wage growth. I think inflation's coming down because they just killed wage growth. That's what they want. To kill it.
Does this mean that swimming pools are going to get cheaper?
Just steal an above ground pool out of someone's backyard.
Actually, I saw that you could buy a stock tank, like those big, like metal containers that are used to, like, for livestock, and people have been turning them into mini pools in their backyard, and they actually look pretty nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I played Marvel yesterday. I got in it in the morning, got out it in the afternoon. I was actually, I think I was talking to Rockstar. And he was telling me how he liked it, and I had to put on it. So I was like, I'm out. I was like 38%. I got some Palantir out to November. I'm still playing the Pac West bullshit. We'll see what happens there. Just feel like something's going on with the bank still.
I almost forgot about the banks.
Put your calls on that Palantir.
I got calls on Palantir. That's my AI play. Plus, I have an IBM I'm playing too, but that one's going to come due in a couple weeks.
Oh, voice. I'm following Hardy on the GM play. I picked up a straddle right around 24. So that's for the earnings, which is or their earnings are going to be on the 7th. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how you do on that. That's going to be interesting. I wonder if they're going to come in hot again. That was their first beat, right? The last time.
Yeah, and Zelda, I think wasn't there some new game that got released this past quarter that I don't know if that's going to be in their report or not. I wasn't quite sure on the time. Yeah, did that come out before the end of March or?
Yeah, I've been playing that actually. It's I'm having pretty good fun with it, but unfortunately, I think now that we are look at calendar.
It came out on May 12th.
Yeah, it came out May 12th, so it's been almost 3 weeks. So
yeah, that's not going to be in their earnings.
I think once earnings comes out, because you'll also get a lot more of the revenue they got from the Super Mario Brothers movies should show up on the next earnings report. But right now, you're seeing the cool down after the pump up.
I got a lottery ticket with GameStop way out to January, I believe, on the downsies.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens with GME.
It just seems like it's a Blockbuster story.
Ooh, ouch.
Hey man, Blockbuster and Little Caesars back in the day. That was me and my wife's go-to. That was good times.
Is Blockbuster making a comeback?
Yeah, right. I still got one to return.
Be ironic if they take over Netflix one day.
They're not even around anymore, are they?
I don't
Oh,
believe so.
there's one left in Bend, Oregon.
That was Wayne Huizinga's baby.
Yeah, there's a documentary on Netflix about the last Blockbuster.
That's ironic.
Yeah. But actually, I think from what they said, Netflix didn't necessarily cause their demise. It was like a lot of just like poor decisions. Like their CEO at the time didn't believe in. He was just like too late on a lot of things that would have put them in a better position than Netflix. So it was just like they got there first.
It's so true. There was a guy named Jeff Bezos that was touting that he could sell books online.
Yeah.
So, like with oil situation, I guess Saudi and Russia aren't getting along too well.
I don't think they ever have.
Yeah, but I think there's some bullshit going on. Like I think, don't they get on point though with the oil pricing? Like they try to keep it the same, or no? Maybe I'm wrong. Because they were saying that there was a problem with trying to keep oil high because of Russia keeping it low or some shit.
Well, they are both members of OPEC, and Saudi Arabia is quote unquote the de facto leader of OPEC. So there's probably a little bit of a issue there because Russia is selling its oil so it can fund a war that it's losing horribly. And then Saudi Arabia is like, but we can't buy Rolls Royce for our entire soccer team if gas is too low.
Right. So what do you feel? They're going to try to jack oil up, I'm thinking. They're going to try their best to do it. So I guess Boyle's another play, or you guys playing like Oxy stuff, or what are y'all looking at? Just energy in general is going to get higher.
On that Oxy thing, I don't know if I'd like some feedback on this, but so a while ago, Warren Buffett bought a ton of Oxy shares, equity, and then like a month ago or so, or even less than a month ago, he sold $10 billion worth of his Oxy portfolio back directly to Occidental Petroleum, not going through the market, but selling it to the company back directly. And then yesterday I read an article that now they're buying more shares. Now Warren Buffett is buying more shares of Oxy. So it seems like Occidental is using Warren Buffett as a mule to buy back shares on the down low, because he's buying the shares on the open market and then selling them back directly to Occidental Petroleum, and he's like the middleman in all of this. Have you guys noticed that?
So what, you think they're like washing their shares or something like that's going on?
Not washing the shares. I think they're trying to do like a company buyback of shares on the down low by using Warren Buffett to purchase the shares instead of them purchasing the shares back directly, because he's buying them and then he sells them to Oxy directly. Like if you look like two weeks ago, I think there was an article in Bloomberg that announced that he's selling $10 billion worth of shares directly to Occidental Petroleum. And now 2 weeks later, he's buying more shares on the open market. So it's like he's buying them on the open market, but then selling them back to Occidental Petroleum behind, closed doors. And it's like they're using him as a mule to do like a buyback of their shares.
A buyback,
and,
right. That's weird.
It's like that is weird to me.
But is he not trying to like control the board and stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
I heard that he's trying to gain control of the board. Like he's at that position now where he can get control of the board.
Interesting.
I mean, I just think he thinks energy is going to skyrocket because he's been through this shit before. I mean, it fucking sucks, man, but we really are setting up for the 70s, early 80s scenario. People are going to get fucked.
Yep. Well, if they do raise oil prices and oil prices go up, then I mean, that's gonna be like the major recession.
Bullish for EVs, man. I mean, it's not like electric vehicles existed in the 70s. There was no alternative. There is an alternative now, and it's just going to send that development and that adoption to the moon. It's going to do for electrical vehicles what COVID did for work from home and remote work, which is accelerated by about a decade.
That's a good point.
It's called saying that. Wouldn't you think that the oil guys are going to want to get that last big pump before, because they see the writing on the wall. So they're going to try to get as much profit and squeeze this orange as much as they can before that fucking happens, which it's happening. It's happening pretty quick too.
Yep.
So I just speculate that oil would go up.
Yeah, you take out, and so just to be clear, I know people might be thinking, oh, but there's other uses of oil, like plastic. If you take out the fuel use of oil, it's 98% of oil consumption planet-wide. So if you take that out, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, and plastics can be made from hemp and from other materials. You don't need oil necessarily to make plastics. I mean, plastic can be made out of a lot of different materials.
They'll be back to camels.
And I wouldn't pay too much attention to what Warren Buffett does. I mean, he's just kind of a pawn that's out there that tells everybody to get rich by investing in fucking Coke and like these giant monopoly companies. But you can't really get wealthy using his style of investment anymore. I mean, if you would have tried to buy, value the whole time the rates were at zero, they're pushing everybody out the risk curve, you would have made $0. So everybody loves to follow Warren Buffett. He's just some fucking rich dude that does what he's told. Like,
Well,
he's
part of it
always
too
right.
is
He's
he
not
used
that intelligent
leverage.
in this environment. Like, he's not that intelligent in this environment. Like, you can find so many quotes of him just shit talking things like, Bitcoin or the internet back when it came out. I mean, he's not the person to follow for trades.
Well, and
I
also
agree with
people,
I agree with what you're saying about Warren Buffett. I'm not a big fan of his either. I mean, basically, he buys the revenue streams of established companies like brick manufacturers, battery companies, like staples of our daily life, and he just buys the revenue streams and brings them into their fold. But as far as his transactions go, like what he's doing with Oxy, to me that's like borderline shady, right? I mean,
Oh, for sure.
Like when he's moving bill, because what would normally happen is, like, for example, when he sold the $10 billion in shares directly to Oxy, like if he were going to sell $10 billion of shares on the market, that would have an impact on the price of Oxy. But instead, he's selling the shares directly to the company back, so that doesn't reflect in the. There's no movement in the share price on the open markets. And then when he buys the shares, and that does have an impact on the open market. And then when he sells them to Oxy, it's like that. To me, that seems just shady. But I totally agree with you. He's like overrated.
and there's also a misunderstanding of like his total investment thesis. Like people think he's a long only value investor, and that is not true at all. I mean, if you look at his returns in 2020, the only reason he achieved any alpha was because of options that he had sold on Coca-Cola. And those options, mind you, were bearish, right? So it's not like he's like this long only value investor that people think he is. He does other things.
So you think
he also uses
he
enormous
personally
amounts
made
of
those
debt.
options plays? He's not sitting around trading fucking Coke options, dude. He has somebody who does that for him.
Bruh, he made $430 million off of it. And yes, of course he has people that does that for him. I mean, he's one of 4 CEOs of Berkshire Hathaway. Think about it. But that's how the money was made.
And I was just trying to make the point that he has the ability to obtain much more leverage than any of us. So when you're not using your own money, it's much easier to rack up that much in gains.
Has anyone ever gone on Berkshire Hathaway's website? I think they made one when they got websites, and they haven't done anything to it since.
No, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, what he's doing with the Oxy shares is definitely fishy. But my point is only like, dude, this dude's been a member of the elite class for like what, 50 years, 60 years. Like, he's basically the Wizard of Oz at this point. Like, we can speculate, but I mean, they might just be using him as some, like you said, a scapegoat to push up or to accumulate Oxy shares. You know, because clearly the company's trying to buy more shares. Just doing it through him.
In other news, I'm also in on SoFi Play. I have leaps dated out to January, $5 leaps dated out to January that are printing nicely already. And then I've got short-term puts on them because I think their price might retrace a little bit from their run-up yesterday. The other one that's looking pretty decent right now is Vertical Aerospace Limited, EVTL. Those shares are up quite a bit right now, the ones that I have, and I've also got put and call options on them also leaps to hedge against the price going down. And I'm still playing the duty-free shops. With travel increasing this summer, it might help lift their stock price up a little bit, so I bought a couple hundred shares and see how those go. But those are, right now, they're down around 3%, but I'm expecting that to change over the summer. All the reports that are coming in indicate that travel is overbooked and just crowded all over the place, to the point where you got people in Florida shooting at each other on the beach. So now you can't even go to the beach anymore without risking getting shot.
Did anybody fade that the AI run? Anybody get in shorts on that?
I had a bad feeling about them, and I, especially since yesterday Hardy mentioned that they didn't have the enough IV to move up any further, but I was still hesitant to go short.
Yeah, dude, me too. Now I'm kicking myself. I mean, I knew Nvidia wasn't sustainable at 420 or at 400 even, but now it's getting back a little scary. The other one I was going to short was like the SMCI, I think.
I said they're going to drop 25%.
I had picked up a couple of those January 2024 puts on NVIDIA, but I hadn't fully sized into the position when it started moving downwards and the premium started getting jacked up. And so I think I'm going to sell what I've got and then look to buy more later. I don't know.
Dang, is there any reason you went? Is there any reason? Sorry to interrupt, but is there any reason you went so far out in January? Were you just trying to be less risky and keep some of your capital in case you were wrong, or was it like?
Well, I think it's going to have a larger drawdown over that time horizon. Like, I think it's going to continue. Like, I don't think, unless this becomes the next Tesla, which there's a possibility it does, but unless this becomes the next Tesla, I don't think the markets are going to allow it to maintain this PE ratio over a long period of time in the current economic environment. And so I wanted a slow and steady drawdown over the course of, basically 6 months.
Right.
And then to dish out of my position about 90 days ahead of time, which is why I buy it for January. So that way I decrease my exposure to theta, which really accelerates in those last 90 and especially in the last 30 days.
Right.
So that was my thesis. But yeah.
Oh, it's a wise plan. I think, I agree. I think 420 is probably 2023's top. I mean, unless something crazy happens the back end of the year. Average market P&E is like 18, right?
Yeah, I think like 18 to 25.
Yeah, and again, like, it could always become the new favorite casino of all of Wall Street, like Tesla was for years, in which case I'm going to get blown the fuck out, right? I mean, if that happens, then I'm just screwed, because the amount of trading and derivatives on it will just be so high that it won't even matter, and I'll get crushed.
Yeah.
The risk of that is I think more than nominal, because of the vertical integration that NVIDIA has. I mean, they have the hardware, the software, the networking, the services, and everything else. I mean, there's two ways that you can bring down the price earnings ratio. You can either decrease the numerator or increase the denominator, which is the earnings. So if their earnings do go up a lot, then that's also going to bring down the price earnings ratio. So there is a risk of that with the way that they're vertically integrated with the chips, the software, the AI, the training models, and the services that go along with it. I think they're really well positioned. And in that regard, they are a lot like a Tesla, because Tesla's vertically integrated like that as well.
Or
Yeah, another
or
thing
the
that
other
I'll
thing.
say that this is anecdotal, but another thing I'll say about that was, like Tuesday, I went out boating with a bunch of like my venture capitalist buddies, and every VC bro on the boat was pulling out their phone to show off their NVIDIA gains, and I'm just like, oh
Shit.
man, this feels a lot like a bubble, buddy. Like, I don't know if this is bad or good, but like things are happening.
The only thing I'd watch out for though is because of the type of stock it is and because AI is supposedly the quote unquote future, is a lot of these people that just bought right now might be diamond handing the stock, right? So I mean it might not fall that much further. It might only get back down to like what, 350 or something and then turn around on you and come back. So yeah. But if you let's see how many deviations oversold it is right now. Open up trading view.
I think you're gonna get burned. I'm sorry.
But yeah, as far as like Warren Buffett buying those stock backs, I mean the American economy is basically like a big game. I mean, think about it. Somebody like Jeff Bezos or like Bill Gates, like there's only 300 million Americans. They've got more than $300 million. So any one of those super wealthy guys could stimulate the economy at the drop of a hat. Could send out $300 million whenever they want. Now, do you think the powers that be want any of these rich guys making everybody in America rich? Fuck no. So, you know, you can get super rich. You just can't give it out to anybody else or let anybody know how you got rich. That's the whole thing. It's like once you get to that elite level, you know, you're not really supposed to be sharing your wealth or telling anybody what you're doing with it. So, I don't know. I don't know why he's buying Oxy stock and selling it right back to the company. That's fishy as fuck, though.
Yeah, on my chart, it looks like NVIDIA is about 2 standard deviations oversold, if I'm reading this correctly. I guess putting up at around 383 this morning.
What time frame are you looking at? I'm looking at a month, just a monthly chart.
Oh, let me take a look. That was
On the monthly, I'm just showing it 1%, 1 standard deviation oversold, but on the 5-day, it's already ran down to that bottom channel and is pushing lower. Below support on the 5-day. And the 1 month support is at, drum roll, oh shit, 315. I don't know, it might get back down to 320. That's where support is. Probably still a fat short down to 320. But we don't know. I don't know, dude. I just feel like everybody that bought NVIDIA these past few days is just gonna buy and hold it. So I don't know.
Or panic sell it, because actually the 320 seems about right. That's 322 is the 200-day moving average.
Oh, okay. Is it? I took the moving averages off my shit because I'm too cheap to pay for trading.
and the 100-day is at 350. The 200-day is at 322. So
yeah, you probably short it to 322.
320 is probably not far off the mark.
Yeah. But remember, time's gonna pass before it goes down, and then we got a lot of currency debasement going on, so probably 325 would be my target, or 330 if I were to buy a put. Let me see how much the premiums are.
3 minutes
Anybody know the IV? What's the IV on NVIDIA options? 3 more minutes, boys. Let's see what we can do here.
Were you guys talking about universal basic income before?
I mean,
It comes
a
up from
lot of
time to
time.
time.
Implied vols 50%.
No, I thought
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, nothing. I thought I missed something about it. That's all. Thank you.
We can chat about it a little bit after market opens. But I'm showing the IV at around the 320 mark to be for June 9th. 320 looks like around 70%. Or 70.
Well, I'm on crappy Robinhood right now, so they only
This is
give me
on-
the 7th or the 14th. Implied
on
volatility. Yeah, IV's, I know, right? Very bourgeois. IV's 48% on here.
And you're on the 16th of June?
7th
Or
for
7th?
320. 320 buying put, buy side put.
I don't even.
I only buy puts. I don't sell puts or calls.
Date?
I mean, 48 IV's not bad on Nvidia. Usually spikes up to like 70 or something, 80. What's the IV on June 2nd? See what these are going. Yeah, 70. There's some money to be made. I mean, you'll make something. You may not hit the 320 or 325, but I mean, Nvidia's up on the pre-market, so here comes the dead cat bounce. Maybe grab some shorts after it bounces today. That's probably what I'll do. I think I'm gonna wait, see if there's a dead cat bounce today.
For June 2nd, I'm showing a IV for 320. I'm showing an IV of 131.
Oh wow!
That's on Schwab. 131 is
Market
IV.
open.
So like, everyone's checking out how their trades are doing. So Cuba, our neighbor to the south, has universal basic income. And last time I was there, we had a person that was like our guide that took us around to different places and explained different things.
When did they
And
implement that? Do you know what year?
probably when, in the 50s when
COVID.
Fidel Castro, when it became communist.
Hey, Nintendo opened green, and so did Re. If it can go up full cent, I'll be profitable on my position again.
Oh yeah, Ree.
So what was your story about Cuba? So you were there visiting.
So we were there, and this person, they said that everybody gets like a minimum amount, and the amount isn't even enough to buy them like rice and beans for a month. Like it basically supports their food needs for about a week or two. And then
Okay.
what the Cubans do, like all the Cubans, what they do is they have a side hustle. Like for the like you have like your government job that provides you have your assigned job that gives you your universal basic income.
I didn't realize what I was going to start in the chat with the moment I said the name of said stock. Well, you can't say regard without re.
Amen.
So you get like your basic income, and then you have to have in order to survive, you have to have some kind of a side hustle. And like our guide, her side hustle was she would download movies and shows from the United States and save them onto a thumb drive, and then she would sell those thumb drive to her customers that would buy them from her. So, I mean, universal basic income is a great idea, but you're going to have to plan on having some kind of a side hustle in order to make it work.
Right.
Because it's not going to give you the kind of lifestyle that you want. If you want to live a better life than a universal basic life, then you're going to have some kind of a side hustle on top.
I mean, for most millennials and Gen Zers, that's pretty much the life experience anyway, buddy. You got to have some kind of side hustle, paying job in order to pay for things.
Right. So universal basic income is like euphemism for you got two jobs. You got your official job and then you got your side hustle.
Hey, I'm cool with spending my life being basic. Not much of a change for me.
What are you talking about? You're the nuclear expert. That's not so basic.
Super basic.
Hey, uranium's had a little run this past couple of days.
It's been great.
Who had to pay back? Everyone's talking about their STEMIs in the chat. Who had to pay back their STEMI? I feel gypped.
What?
Yeah, if you made over a certain threshold, you got billed back your stimulus check at the end of the year by the IRS.
So what's called is secretly asking, and careful, this is a trap question. He's secretly going, who here is poor? Did anybody else have to give back your check, or are you one of the poors? So carefully answer this.
Damn it, you spoiled it. You spoiled it.
What makes you think I tell the IRS how much money I have, you fucking moron?
I think Scald was making a humble brag that he's so rich that he had to pay the money back.
Scald over there I don't get it, guys. They wouldn't let me keep it in my Bugatti.
I never even got one. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh, see? You didn't get one. That's why I listen to you, Yamagino. I like you.
Hey, my business lost like 20 grand this year, so according to the IRS, I lost money this year.
And that's the other thing too. Like during COVID, we never shut down, so I couldn't even get the business stimulus that they had for keeping people employed. Like we didn't lose money.
Oh, you could have still got that money, dude.
No, the requirements really, because the requirements we tried to get it, but the requirements they had was that you had to have a negative impact on your business as a result of the COVID shutdowns, and we didn't. We actually did pretty well.
See, you're the reason that our fucking nation is not completely destroyed and in the gutter. There's honest people like you. Thank God. We need more people like you.
I got a PPP loan on my own income. What up, dog?
Wait, so we weren't supposed to fraudulently get those loans to invest in our business swimming pool instruction?
I have my broker's license, so just for shits and giggles, I filed for one as a real estate broker because I'm like, wait, I'm self-employed, so what are they going to give me if I fire myself? They gave me $1,000.
Yeah, exactly, dog. Get that money.
I mean, it's just hysterical. Like the logic, of giving a real estate agent $1,000. That's like, it's like giving a drug addict $20 and expecting not to do drugs or something. It's like,
so, talking about fraudulent people and that, my previous county executive for where I live at got caught using. He got like $600,000 worth of those PLP loans, and he used it to buy crypto and some other stuff, put a bunch of money in his own bank account. So he wound up pleading guilty in federal court to wire fraud. And then while that was going down, he got caught in his government vehicle in a prostitution sting 2 counties over.
Damn, son.
Yeah, see, I
and
like
now apparently he's
himself.
dead, last I heard. So interesting.
I like sleeping at night. I don't
Did you say he's dead last you heard? Is that what you just said?
Well, last I heard, someone said that he died. I'm like, huh, interesting.
Hey, how about a good spin on this? Have you guys thought about the people that the COVID and the checks and the unemployment took out of poverty? Let's say two people working a very low wage. They have 5 kids. They're just living paycheck to paycheck if they can. All of a sudden, they're getting all this money coming in per month for their children. So don't you think that it took some people out of poverty?
No.
Really? Why is that?
No,
If you got five children, you are not.
They got $500 a child. They got $500 a child. They got all of a sudden. If they live in Florida, they got $800 a week. Both of them a week. They got their checks. That went on for months and months. So all of a sudden, they're making age 16, 24, 5,000 between them, 500 for the kids, checks for months and months and months. Their life was better, no?
So
Didn't take him out of
I'm
poverty.
going to use the
that was the
lottery as an analogy here. So I mean, there are people that when they win the lottery, 9 times out of 10 they wind up worse off than before, and that's because when you just get a bunch of money handed to you, you buy stupid stuff with it, and I guarantee you those people did the exact same thing.
But it's actually
Not
worse
saying
than winning the
everyone.
lottery.
I'm saying some people, not
Right.
everyone. And you're being very basic about saying that everybody who's like that, who lives like that, are going to spend their money. That's a little bit off of a remark, if you ask me.
I'm just saying it didn't
You
pull
have-
anybody out of poverty.
Well, there's going to be
It
people
wasn't
on each
Right.
extreme, but I don't think it's going to literally pull you out of poverty. If you have 5 kids, I don't think $500 a month is going to do that much.
Yeah, especially if eggs cost $500. What are we doing?
It's just a philosophical question. I'm just saying that I figured that all of a sudden they're getting, $800 a week, both woman, husband and wife, partners, and plus they're getting for the children, plus they're getting,
There's no doubt it helped a lot of people, but if it's open to be abused, it's going to be abused. So I think people use hyperbole a lot, and they're like, oh, everybody's just spending it on like Apple Watches and stuff. But there are people that are genuinely using it for what it's intended. But if there's a capability to abuse it, they will.
Well, if I was making $1,000 a month, and now we're making $5,000 a month for months, I mean, hopefully some people. I'm just being kind of happy news about it. Trying to be the positive.
Yeah, but your cost of living used to be $1,000 a month, and now it's $3,000 a month. So it's like, it's just not really.
That's true. True. Just an idea I had for a while. Thanks.
It's a total setup because it's not sustainable, and now that it's over, and taxes have to be increased to pay that back, they're going to end up paying back more than what they received, because you're paying interest on that stuff as well. It was like a free loan for a while, but then in the long run, those 5 kids are going to be burdened with an additional, like, for example, the debt limit that's being passed right now translates into an additional $12,000 of debt for every man, woman, and child in America. So you got to
also additional 1.2 trillion of reserves for the banks to lend out, which is more currency debasement, which is more inflation. So it's on both ends.
Yep, because that money has to come from somewhere. If you're not earning it yourself and you're just getting it, then it's a loan. No matter how you put it, it's a loan. If you're getting it from the government, it's a loan, and that puts people in a worse position than they were at than they started with.
And also from before, I was at the beach in Hollywood when that went down. I was far away, but I heard the commotion in the distance, and it was the first time it ever happened in 25 years I've been around. I'm talking Hollywood Beach, Florida.
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to talk about Target being downgraded by JP Morgan. I've been talking about this for 2 weeks now about shorting Bud and Target, and they're losing billions. They've lost billions, and their stock is showing that. And I believe there is more downside for both of them.
Well, remember the amount of their shrinkage loss for 2022. $400 million. That seems amazing.
With Bud, I'm actually hoping to switch to long and get and hope for like a little bit of a short squeeze. Looks like they're running out of shares to borrow.
Lucid is down this morning, 14.8%. They're trying to score a deal with the Saudi investment fund. I'm guessing it's not going well.
Hello, everyone. I have a question for you guys. Are you familiar with KOLD, natural gas leverage ETF?
The reverse one, right? Or inverse?
Is it reverse? I don't think KOLD.
Cold is inverse.
Boyle is the long one, and I think cold is the short one.
Any
cold
thoughts
is the
on the
inverse
natural
one.
gas sector over the next few years?
Slut Spoiler is big on that, right? Gonna speak to
Oil
that.
is super low right now.
Over the next few years, well, what you need to look at right now is every projection of the weather report is saying that it's going to be a warm winter, which is why oil keeps on getting beaten down. But as we keep on trading natural gas and oil in dollars, you can expect that the dollar will weaken against the commodity and the price will go up. Then there's a lot of other bullish things for natural gas in general because of the way that Europe is structured and Russia's cutting off their supply, and I'm long on Boyle, and I'm long on another company called FLNG, which transfers natural gas from America over to Europe. They don't have any other alternative sources of energy right now.
You said FLNG?
Yeah, like liquid natural gas. They've got an 11% dividend. They're up bigly since the war started. They've got great institutional investorship. Everybody that you want on your team. Germany was the terminus for the Nord Stream pipeline, and now they're shutting down their nuclear reactors, and I expect a spike in the use of natural gas, especially now that it's so short. They're also cutting off production because the producers are claiming that the price has been manipulated low. So what you've basically got is you've got lower supply, steady and climbing demand, and weakening the commodity being traded in yuan instead of dollars. So from
Do
an
you think
outside
that's something we'll be seeing more?
absolutely.
No, I'm with you on that. You guys hear me? Oh yeah.
Unless you have a counterpoint to why countries would want to go use the dollar when JPOW is tightening it.
No, I've been buying natural gas calls all the way down. I mean, if it goes down to $2, I'll double down. If it goes down to $1.50, I'll double down because it's just a matter of time before the cycle versus.
Well, it wasn't until fairly recently that I said natural gas is a buy, even though I've been very bullish on natural gas shipping. And then it was about at $4, $3 that I said, like, okay, they're going to start shutting off production facilities because this is just bullshit. And the rig count has been decreasing for a while now. So the usage of it is the usage of natural gas is going up, and they don't have enough plants or rigs to replenish it like they normally do. So it's going to be interesting. Now they could turn them back on and stabilize the production again, but I feel like they're not going to, because historically we're at atrociously low price.
Yeah.
So something to consider with natural gas, and I would say pretty much the whole energy sector. If you expect a recession, it doesn't really matter what the fundamentals are. They're going to go down. So do keep that in mind. If you're one of the people sitting there saying, I think a recession's coming, I think the dollar's in trouble and we're going to have some bad economic times, natural gas, oil, they're all going to go down. All the industrial metals, it doesn't matter what the fundamentals are. They're going to get hit.
A recession is basically opposite of currency defense.
And that's what started this whole mess in the first place, was the bank earnings, and prior to the bank earnings, it was the fear of recession. And so the fear of recession was driving down all the energy costs. And also, like, as of yesterday, maybe, I think, some Saudi prince, some oil baron over there in Saudi Arabia said basically that if you're short oil, you're going to be ouching, which I think is translated as like you're going to get fucked because oil's about to go up majorly in price.
Why?
Well, I have a feeling he's referring to the fact that it is being manipulated low, and by futures and fears of this warm weather and recessionary talk. And I think he's BS.
I would say it's being manipulated low. I think it's just getting lower. I mean, I think it's just this supply and demand that's bringing it lower.
Well, this is well, I believe that natural gas is being manipulated low. As far as oil, that's what he was saying. I'm going to try and find the clip for you. Hold on.
I mean, I could see oil going lower because Russia might be pumping extra to try and get some dollars to support the war effort. But I don't know about natural gas. I don't. Okay. Oil's a very large market. I don't know if, just shorting is going to drive it low the way that it's been going. Seems like a oversupply condition.
Also, the price of oil is going to go down if other people are buying oil in not U.S. dollars anymore, and they were buying U.S. dollars before. That means that slowly, very, very slowly, it's not going to very slowly, the price of oil will deflate just based on the fact that less people are using U.S. dollars to buy it. And OPEC's always going to fucking sit there and say they can fucking manipulate the price and they're going to cut supply. But reality is nowadays, now that they're in a global trade market, they don't have half as much power as they had before, which is kind of one of the reasons they've been freaking out for a bit ever since the whole COVID thing, the deglobalization. It's because deglobalization is bad for OPEC too. It's bad, as well as it be bad for the US dollar. So yeah, I don't think OPEC has a lot of power over oil prices.
Oil's a leveraged ETF, right? Or am I mistaken on that one?
Boyle is.
Depends on which ETF, doesn't it?
I think Boyle
It's
itself.
double leveraged.
It is double leveraged. Okay. So
I think you said
to keep in
Boyle
mind
with
with Boyle,
not-
you can get shares and still get the bonus benefit of the leverage without having to just go calls.
Oh yeah. Boyle is like 2 times levered or 3 times. I have calls on UNG and Boyle.
Seeing some nice action in Chinese stocks, probably because these CEOs, Diamond and Musk, went over there recently. We've been arguing for better trade relations with them.
Gentlemen, to answer your question about what I think about Biden approving the pipeline, I think that's very out of character for him. The first thing that Biden did was basically.
That's
Okay,
not
I'm
out.
not trying to.
In character.
I don't want to get political, but
That's in his character. This fake ass shit he's been doing the past 2 years is what's out of his character.
okay. Well, the first thing that he did when he became president was stop the Keystone pipeline. Then he put a mortuary on new fracking lands. I mean, he just kept on, and then he cut a bunch of energy production. I mean, he really. So the fact that he's approving a new pipeline is kind of a new.
For sure, it's a 180. I agree with that.
It's a 180.
I'm just saying he's for U.S. establishment, the big guys. So it's like he's always going to be on that team. So it's not surprising he's doing whatever.
Well, there are some people who may be interested in thinking of an idea that could have been proposed by some people that the second that he got in there, he started just raising oil and gas prices to pay back the foreign interests that funded his campaign through his son. Yeah. Other than that, I once had a DD on Victoria's Secret. I thought they were gonna go like up big time, but the CEO left, and everything that she had planned went with her. So I guess now they're at the 52 weeks and 52-week low, and it's kind of criminal because BBWI, Bath and Body Works, is not getting hit so hard.
I would have liked to have read your DD on Victoria's Secret. I feel like that's definitely a place where one could go to spoil some sluts, so you would have a lot of good first-hand information.
Yeah, exactly.
I was bearish on them just because I see them as a kind of too little too late company where they haven't like addressed some design issues, and like other companies have kind of just like taken over the market share of where things are going, and I think they reacted a little too late, and people see them as like this like 90s company
I
still.
think it's just a saturated market. It's a very tough market to break into. I know they do have online competition heavily.
Well,
Was the bullish
you
case
guys
just
could.
based on the CEO staying?
So I also think they've abandoned their growth plan. Well, you guys, I think you should read it because there is an underlying economic recession thing called the lipstick effect that I dive into, and it's basically the idea that as men get kicked out of the workforce and become non-suitable males, that the women have to compete in order to find a suitable male. And the way that they do that, the best way that they do that, is by buying beauty products. And we can actually see this from previous recession, that small scale luxury items such as makeup actually get purchased more, and so it's a good inflation hedge. And the reason why I chose Victoria's Secret is because of their aggressive CEO, their expansion into using Amazon for distribution. A couple of things I don't really remember because it was so long ago. And they had a buyback of shares recently, so they do expect to go back up internally as far as the board goes. But unfortunately, the CEO, she left, and I haven't heard anything about how they were going to expand their product line, redo their material, like their try and what do you call it? Turn around their public opinion of themselves as like shitty underwear, and a few other things that they were going to do that was that would have been very beneficial, like move out of malls and try and compete with more higher grade luxury brands. But anyways, it's a good. It's a similar like that sector is going to be a good recession hedge, as well as the fact that as we get moving into like Instagram modeling and OnlyFans and all this stuff, and we get into a more digital centralized world where women can be incentivized just for being pretty, you're gonna probably want to be in that section, have some exposure to it, especially if everything else takes a downturn.
Are they bringing back their modeling shows? Like, didn't they put a halt to that?
They never went away, did they?
I thought they stopped it for a
modeling
while.
shows?
I thought they stopped it for a while. Like they had like the runway shows. Like it was an annual event. They used to have like a Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, the Angels
runway show. Yeah, I thought they did away with that for a couple of seasons.
Have you been watching RuPaul's Drag Race? That's what they call it now.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Good morning.
those aren't the
I'm
kind of sluts. I don't go after those kinds of sluts.
Oh man, too bad because I'm one of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking to shopping moving online, what do you guys think of Spotify? They've got earnings coming up on July 2nd.
I mean, are people still buying things? Or are they just going out and traveling and stuff?
I don't know, but the earnings looks like they're much too rough that.
Spotify. Yeah, I don't know about short-term Spotify stuff. Mid-term to long-term though, they're making AI music, and this is going to be fucking crazy. They're actually they actually hold the license to the likeness of the artist, and so right now there's like some weird legal shit that they're trying to sort out that could have like some major effects here in the midterm, long term, because if they can start making, taking an artist's likeness, making AI music in their likeness because they own the rights, then they don't have to pay the artists anymore. So it could get crazy. And by the way, I'm a little bit skeptical, but I'm also not so skeptical because the music industry contracts and the way that they sign deals and stuff is absolutely fucking inhumane. And they could totally do something like this. It's like a deal with the devil.
Calls on Satan.
I guess you could say. Well, actually, I have. I'm shorting Satan right now. I'm shorting Target, and the reason why is because they had like a bunch of they partnered. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but they partnered with a Satanist clothing designer. But it looks like they've actually sent out a corporate memo to all of the stores to close out the. To take off or to disband, like take out and stop doing business with this satanic guy. I'll find the article, but it looks like the boycotting has worked and Target is now being retroactively fitted back to normal. Hold on one sec, I'll find the article.
I mean, they finally figured out that not everyone in America is gay or wants to cut off their penis.
Oh, no.
Good market research, Target.
Well, some people say it's not a big deal. Some people say it's a big deal. The way I see it is Target's customer base. You know, like if you scare parents, your stock will go down. You know. But I made a good chunk of money, and it looks like they're turning around. I might close out of this little short hop on the a news-based play. So, but they literally just got downgraded by JP Morgan. So maybe I'll ride it out for a little bit longer. But if someone if there's a Satanist making sexualized LGBT clothes for kids, that's free money, dude. If you short it.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this until you got to the for kids part. The first few parts, I'm like, whatever. But then you said for kids. It's a little weird.
Somebody in the chat was talking about Target calls. Did you guys talk about Macy's yet and retail in general?
Yeah, what happened to Macy's? I saw they took a nosedive.
Yeah, they cut their outlook. So I think it's not just a Macy's thing. So when it comes to Target, Nordstrom, I mean, it's not looking good for them for the rest of the year.
Yeah, retailers that are not focusing on low income and like cost savings.
Yeah,
and
if you want to talk
discount
about
stuff.
really dumb Pride themed merchandise, at Walmart they have Pride themed dog treats.
Yeah, but Pride is not the only thing that's gonna nosedive their, sales outlook. I mean, let's talk about in general.
Yeah, but your dog.
Breaking news, folks. According to my firsthand research, Pornhub has changed their logo to the Pride theme already. It now has a rainbow on it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! Here we go, baby.
Are you kidding me? It's been June 1st for 10 hours now. What the heck?
Immediate.
Are you at work right now?
What?
Does that mean there's only one
Yeah, I mean,
category?
kinda.
I was just gonna say, like, on the note of retail, someone mentioned earlier on about like if you're gonna be retail, you have to operate cost savings. I think that's 100% right. I think it's like you either got to be super low end and you exist just to sell as cheap as possible, or you got to be selling luxury goods, because it's all the middle stores that are getting cut off, right? If you look at it, if it's Target, if it's Nordstrom, people who like want to be able to exist in a retail store but don't have anything to offer. And if you want to survive, you got to go on either end, right? You got to be selling something super high end, or you just got to be selling for as cheap as possible. Nothing in between is going to work anymore.
That's right. I agree.
I mean,
totally
Target is the epitome of a company that like inserts its own foot in its mouth on a regular basis. I don't know if anyone remembers when they had that whole debacle when they announced that you could use whatever bathroom you wanted in their stores, and people freaked out about that, and they lost several $1 billion worth of market cap over that. But yeah, Target, I think that's their problem, is that if they're trying to be this forward-thinking retailer and people are like, I could care less, I just want to buy groceries in a place that's quieter than Walmart.
I think once they changed it to the Macy's style floor plan, it helped out a lot too during that time. I'm talking about Target. Does Macy's have a earnings report coming out soon? Anyone know? I'm not there to check. Sorry.
No, but I think
Victoria's
News
Secret
today.
and Macy's, they sort of follow each other, by the way. Also, Target and Bud Light have both lost billions in like the last week in revenue sales. So, I don't see anything wrong with it, but it's the execution. And then I'm kind of hoping that Target pisses off the LGBT community, just like Bud Light did by capitulating, I guess, to the protesting, boycotting.
It just depends on who your target market is. Like, who's your audience? Who are you marketing to, I guess?
Yeah, so I got this shirt at Old Navy. It's part of a matching set of so like I have this and then it matches my wife's and kids' clothes and we all have the same exact print.
Does it come with the shorts too? With
It does come with there are shorts of the same pattern.
Nice.
Yeah, they're actually swim trunks. It's great.
Oh, okay. Got the mesh down there.
Oh yeah. You gotta protect that when you're swimming. Do I have a chest tattoo? Yeah, actually, I'm pretty heavily tattooed underneath my regular clothes. Bitcoin. I'm not going to show off my tattoos on a Discord, but yeah, I have.
Oh, come on! It's June 1st. Let's see some skin.
Where is Prince Philip?
Save its skull.
Yeah, show us your tramp stamp.
Yeah, we should have a tattoo. We should have a tattoo session on Wall Street Bets. Everyone show off their tattoos. The Wall Street Bets tattoo show.
You know, somewhere I got a band bet that says if GameStop goes up to 1,000, which would be 4,000 now, I guess, that I will get a tattoo.
All right, next week. Earnings are June 7th.
I believe at 1,000. That's at least semi-realistic. It'll happen.
Yeah, 1,000 pre-split, which is 4,000 now. I'm gonna get the Wall Street Bets baby on a rocket ship.
You should get a packet of top ramen noodles tattooed.
Get a margin call tattoo.
It's got to be painful.
I actually don't eat ramen because the plastic that it comes in is more nutritious.
Facts.
Do you eat ramen packets, not packets of ramen?
Yeah, I keep meaning to take my gains and like finish out. So like I've got Odin's Ravens and stuff like that, but I need to finish out Yggdrasil on my back. Like I've got a full back piece of the World Tree, and it's got a bunch of Norse runes and stuff on it. But every time I look at it, I'm like, man, tattoos that size are not cheap. And I'm like, or I could like reinvest them into some sort of dumbass option, and then I go and do that instead. And next thing I know, I'm losing my money. Yeah.
Hey, we're right about Virgin Galactic though. A couple days ago, we were talking shit about it, and then they filed for bankruptcy. Whoop.
Wow, the VIX is so low. 16.
Because everybody's waiting on GME earnings, baby. 1 week.
Yeah, that's gonna move the market.
Wait, is anybody playing anything else besides GME, like BB or like AMC and stuff? No, because those start moving once GME starts moving.
When's the GME report coming out?
June 7th.
What's the play we're thinking for GME in particular?
I still have my ape shares. Hanging on to those, see what happens with the court case.
You know, it's so funny you brought up. It's so funny you brought up Bud Light. There, slut spoiler, because I was just out boating the other day, and someone was like, "There's no Bud Light on this boat," and he's like one of my VC buddies, and then he elaborates and he goes, "It's not because they don't like trans people. I love trans people. It's just because their marketing guy's a fucking idiot. That's why there's no Bud Light on the boat. Oh no, we have Zima enthusiasts typing. Here comes the case for Zima. We're about ready to get iced by the Zima enthusiast. It's been a long time since I've been iced.
This Bud Light shit is real, dude. I went to the store on Monday, which is one of the biggest drinking holidays in the country, and the beer was just flying off the shelves, but they had stacks and stacks of Bud Light. Nobody was buying it.
Same here. They got Budweiser and Bud Light at the grocery stores. They got boxes of it lined up on the floor. No one's taking it.
Dude, it's almost like people were so fucking sick of Bud Light just being everywhere for so long that it's like we were all waiting for a reason to hate it.
It's the Aquafina of beer. Have you ever seen that? Where people go and loot stores after a hurricane, but they leave the Aquafina water?
And it's hilarious that they tried to like combat that by like, you know, being thoughtful and progressive, and then it just like backfires, and now they're even worse than they were before. Like you already like wouldn't like I don't know about you guys, but I would not ask for a Bud Light if I'm like out at a bar, right? Like you're not asking for that. I'm getting something off tap like a Guinness or some shit.
I mean, before everything wasn't like Bud Light basically the kind of beer that you just kind of have, like you buy a 6-pack at the store, drink it on your front porch. You know?
Yeah, it's a barbecue staple, you know, all that kind of stuff. But now nobody even buys it for that. Like nobody wants to be caught dead with a can of Bud Light.
Yeah.
No, but the mind share that they created with billions and billions of dollars of advertising over the past few decades was so high that like when you're standing at the bar and the bartender is busy and they finally come up to you and they say, "What do you want?" People instinctively said Bud Light.
Yep.
And they paid billions and billions of dollars for that mind share, and they blew it away in 1 month. Like all that's gone now. Now, I mean, it's unreal. How could you be so stupid?
Yeah, you go to like a little dive bar in the middle of nowhere. You don't know what they have. You order a Bud Light, right? I mean, like that's just the way it worked. I mean, for a long time.
Yeah.
And now
I'm ordering something off the tap, dude. Especially since a lot of those little local places will have like the local brew on tap, dude.
I mean, that's within the last few years. For those of us who've been drinking for a long time.
Yeah.
But I approve of the craft beer renaissance. I mean, it's a good thing.
I mean, I'm 33. I've only been drinking 10 years, so you may got me on that one.
Well,
Sure.
In Northern California, we have craft beers.
But no, that's called flying too close to the sun, right? You get too big and develop blind spots.
For all the crap though that people are giving Bud Light, could you not aren't the sales just going to the parent company's other brands as well? Like on one hand, I get it, right? Because it's like it's a marketing PR disaster. But like you also have to ask the question of where the other sales are actually going to. Are they actually going to competitors? Or are they going to other brands in the same parent company? I don't know.
They are not going to the parent company, and this is part of living in the age of just cheap information. All of this protesting and all this stuff and shit is done through image graphics and infographics, and like all these protests, they have the entire family of Anheuser-Busch as like the target. This is like Modelo.
Modelo's not a Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch brand.
I don't know. I don't, dude.
It's the InBev family of brands. InBev owns Anheuser-Busch, right? Yeah. So you just look up InBev, and then you look up brands.
They're hitting all of them. They're hitting all of them, but especially, of course, the Bud Light is just the thing that flies out your mouth. But
they have Stella,
dude.
One of them.
That's a hard one. That's a good one.
See, that's the thing. I mean, like, nobody ascribes any of these brands to their parent, to their umbrella brand. They're all like, well, I don't want Bud Light. I'll get a Coors. All right, that's a different company. But if they said, I don't want a Bud Light, I'll take a Stella. I mean, that's something that people do pretty often.
you
They
got
wouldn't
you got
realize
people.
they're still supporting the same woke company, you know?
Well, the people who are back in high school and don't want to be called gay for drinking a Bud Light don't drink a Bud Light. But the people who are actively upset or pissed off, they're spreading the message of all the products to not drink.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen posts that lists all the brands of Anheuser-Busch, A, B, and B.
I worked for an Anheuser distributor in the 80s. Back then, they were doing 5 million cases a year.
I'm just gonna stick to the Weihenstephaner. They've been brewing that beer the same way for 983 years, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, Warsteiner's the same way.
Yep. It's like, what is it?
Warsteiner beer. It's
hops,
German beer
water,
based
wheat,
on the original recipe.
Right. Well, the original German beer purity laws was that you could only have 4 things in your beer. And so that's where hops, wheat, barley, and oats were the only things you were allowed to add to beer in addition to water. And the reason why was medieval brewing practices weren't nearly as advanced, and so people started trying to do basically craft beers, but it was in medieval times, and then they ended up killing a bunch of people because that's they're like, we're going to add this weird spice to it, and it's like, bro, do not. You guys don't even understand. You guys don't even understand chemistry yet. Please stop.
Hemlock flavored beer.
Right.
Beer.
Right. Like, that's why they passed the laws in the first place.
There's an anthropologist out there who has like a theory that the entire reason that human civilization exists was because like early people found out that fermentation was more efficiently done if you could stay in the same place. So it wasn't agriculture, it wasn't farming or anything. It was literally just people discovered beer and they wanted more of it, and that was like the easier thing to do. So it's just kind of funny that that's out there.
Math checks out.
And we know that their beers are still so like you can get Midas Touch from like Dogfish Head. And so that beer is a reconstruction of the actual beer that King Midas drank. They actually swabbed the inside of the cups from Midas's burial tomb, and then they used mass spectrometer to figure out the exact chemistry of what was in that cup. And it's pretty good, especially if you pair it with like a cheese.
What? They did whose tomb? Whose tomb?
Yes.
Midas.
Midas, King Midas, you know, the guy who was like really wealthy. So Dogfish had figured out his exact beer, and they recreated it by taking swabs. And it's part of a series that they're going to do of historic beers that are based off of archaeology.
And you can pair it with woolly mammoth steaks that they're going to get from reincarnating the woolly mammoths.
We can bring back the dead, but only if you're delicious. These are the rules.
Only if you're delicious. That's such a fucked up statement.
Imagine eating a chicken sandwich made out of dodo meat.
There you go.
When they were true story though, when they were first selling refrigerators in New York, they were really expensive, and they were trying to get a bunch of investors on board. So they had this big dinner that was like $150 a plate, but this was back in the day, so that was a lot of money. But they actually served woolly mammoth meat at that dinner to prove the concept of refrigeration.
Interesting.
It'd
They
be
did
funny
find,
if woolly mammoth meat did become a thing. Do you imagine like all like the tundra land that's like going for pennies right now, but that was actually used to like farm woolly mammoth? I mean, I know it's like fucked up, but like, could you like that would actually be pretty funny if that happened.
Well, China was working on this thing where they were cloning mammoths and then using elephants as fetus chambers or whatever. And apparently they had like some success, but then they got cracked down on because of ethical stuff, and they pussied out, which is lame because I want some fucking woolly mammoths, dude.
Yeah, I want to find out how comfortable a jacket made from a woolly mammoth would be, or a blanket.
I bet it would keep you really warm. Bison blankets maintain your core body temperature up to like negative 20 degrees. It's nuts.
Yeah, bison hair is so thick, dude. It's crazy. The snow doesn't even melt on them. Because their body heat doesn't permeate through and melt the snow.
Right.
So now that it's June 1st, speaking of which, how do we make money off of Pride? Is there a Pride ETF yet?
Make one, trader the ticker gay.
You can make money off
There's
of
like
Grindr.
an anti one called
Paint
the ticker's y'all.
Bro, the ticker would be
YLLL.
LGBTQ. That's what the ticker would be.
Ain't the
So-
Wendy's dumpster rainbow colors?
LGBTQ? Q? It's been delisted already? Brutal.
Yeah, we'll wait till July.
I thought it was Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv. Oh, long Skittles. Taste the rainbow. What? Actually, Skittles is a private company. You can't. Bud Light parent company Anheuser-Busch sees 27 billion gone as shares near bear market value.
Ouch. Whew. 27 billion. Damn. What a fucking mistake, dude. One commercial did this.
Brutal. Other beers see boost from Bud Light controversy, but I don't know of any other publicly traded alcohol brands. I mean, I know InBev, and that's like end of list.
What about the company that owns Modelo? Are they public? They're like a Mexican company?
Oh.
What about the large Brazilian beverage company? The name, I'll find it in a few seconds.
So someone just posted to WallStreetBets an article about Amazon having to pay a fine to the FTC for privacy violations for the Ring doorbell. Guess how big the fat fine is?
It's going to be some insanely low amount, like $100 million or something, right?
It's lower than that. It's only 30 million.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Constellation Brands, which is publicly traded, owns Corona
Yes.
and Modelo beers.
Yes. that's the one.
Sam Adams is Sam Adams and Truly. I'm not sure what they trade under. Is it Sam? Someone posted Sam in the chat.
Truly is what some article I was skimming apparently is saying the sales are going to is Truly's.
That's what everybody had on the boats the other day. Everybody.
By
had
the way,
I
don't mean to railroad this or whatever, but I just have to say that Modelo Amber, no, Dos Equis, right? Dos Equis Amber. They had a bunch of Dos Equis, yeah. They had a bunch of monks come over from Belgium and teach them how to make Trappist beer. And it's fucking fantastic. If you haven't had it, try it.
Nice.
It's amazing.
Give that a shot. Good.
What is this called? Dos Equis what?
Amber. And it's like the biggest, like the most well-kept secret of all of the Bevmo selections. It tastes just like a fucking Belgian monk
Dude,
beer.
I love Trappist beers. I love them.
Right?
So,
They're the
yeah.
fucking. I went over to Belgium and I would fly back there just to drink again those beers.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "What is this?" And they're like, "Well, back in the day they had these Trappist monks, and all they did was drink beer and not masturbate. So you can only imagine how good it is." I was like, "Holy crap! This is the best thing I've ever had." Their sole outlet of enjoying their existence was drinking beer. So, of course, they got pretty good at it.
So, my takeaway from this is slut spoilers really into traps. Which, good for you. It's Pride Month, and I'm very happy.
Yeah.
This is a judge-free zone, so you do you, man. Whatever makes you happy.
So,
Is it really Pride Month for real?
Helpful Haya says, does making Bud Light sauces make them double gang? I believe in math. Pim does. Yeah, it cancels out, so you should be all right.
I'm reading about how San Francisco's new mayor is trying to house the homeless in a bid to bring companies back to San Francisco. Bruh, they're not coming back.
But housing the homeless is still a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with you on that point. But,
California has a lot more problems than just homeless. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
What are we defining as housing the homeless, though? Because some states say they're going to house their homeless, and then they just make being homeless a crime and throw them in prison. And be like,
Bro,
see, they're not on the streets. They have homes now.
Bro, I'm in California, and as far as housing the homeless goes, bro, get in line, okay? Because I deserve a house before they do.
Did you just bro me?
We're back to the universal monthly income, aren't we?
It was the Californian in me. Forgive me.
On a stock-related thing, I'm just going to say uranium's on a tear right now, and then I'm going to step away and not look at the long-term chart and leave it there.
So, am I hearing this right? That you're still very much down, even with the tear?
No, I'm up. I'm not going to take a victory lap when it's been a rough year, but I am going to have a happy day.
Yeah, San Francisco's in a death loop, dude. Death loop spiral. The worse it gets, the more companies leave. The worse it gets, the more companies leave. And it's not going to get better. And they have no way of solving any of their problems because money literally can't solve it.
I just found out that apparently someone drove through my local bank.
What do you mean drove through? Like drove into?
Yeah, like there wasn't a drive-through where they drove into.
What?
So there's going to be
now. So they crashed a car into the bank? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Into the office of one of the loan officers.
So every single cop in your city is now going to be occupied as they surround that bank, and I'm not even joking, because that happened in my neighborhood, and like every single cop was deployed there, and they treated it like a bank heist. It was crazy.
Well, seeing as like the police department's literally next door to this building.
My point is, you can drive as fast as you want on the roads right now. There is no one to give you a ticket.
Except the county sheriff.
He's going to be at the bank.
That happened to me a while ago. It happened right in front of my eyes. I took my mother to the bank. She went inside to do her business. I waited outside in the car, and this little old lady, she thought she was pushing on the brakes when she was actually pushing on the gas, went over the curb and crashed into the bank, like right in front of my eyes. I couldn't believe what happened. It was just shocking. Funny, but shocking.
See, I'm all for mandatory road tests every 5 years, starting at age 50 for all adults. That's my policy. Vote for me.
Definitely.
And
That's so
I'm holding them
great.
to teenager standards. I want hands at 10 and 2. You need to be able to parallel park. Don't make wide turns. Use your damn turn
You got to be
signal.
able to look over the steering wheel. Number one, you got to be able to look over the steering wheel.
And to make it fair, if you drive a BMW or a Mercedes, they will give you a different car because I know those don't come with turn signals installed in order to make it fair so that you can pass.
What happened to the music? Oh no.
I got you. Do 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 do.
It comes and goes.
Let me see.
Don't worry, I won't play ukulele again.
You can play the ukulele. You are unmutable if you do.
Oh, and in case nobody has mentioned it yet, Tea Princess, one of the she heads up the chicken stonks talk.
No, we're
She invited the
Oh, there we go.
yeah she invited the CEO of a company called AITX, which is a small AI startup, to give an AMA, and he enthusiastically agreed to do it. So I think Scald and Tea Prince are trying to arrange a time and a date to have the AMA. In case you guys are interested in listening in, this is a CEO of AITX, Alpha India
When is
Tango X-Ray. They haven't set the date yet, but it'll be in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
And then I think they're in the Confused Money Discord, they're gonna create a place where you can post questions that you might want to ask the CEO, and if you post your question there, then it'll be asked. But it should be an interesting conversation. He was very enthusiastic about coming on and doing the AMA, so it might be a good talk. And you can ask AI-related questions. And a big thanks to Scald and T Prince for pulling this off.
Yeah, it's mostly T Prince, and I mean, she did all the hard work here, and then hopefully this will be the first of several publicly traded, basically either CEOs or publicly traded companies, like sort of higher ups, that'll be coming on to answer questions and do AMAs with us. So hopefully we can learn a little bit more about their companies.
Opinion said he was reaching out to a mining company, I think a couple days ago, to come in and do the same type of talk. Or maybe they reached out to him. Probably the other way around.
Very cool.
Yeah, we had mentioned that to Opinion a few months back. Because I mean, I think that you could get a bunch of people on here for, like, especially Wall Street Bets has such like brand recognition. I think you could get a lot of people to come on here and do chats. To be honest.
Yeah, that's something we've been talking about. Just trying to figure out who we can reach out to, though.
Can you get Ken Griffin?
That was I was just about to say, like, somebody already suggested that. Like, that was like the first suggestion. And the
Nice.
joke was that
Just allow
OIP
me to
didn't
check,
want
you gotta
to
hit up.
OIP didn't want to annoy his boss too much, you know. Kenny G.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
How about the CEO of Palantir?
If you know him, send his info over.
Peter Thiel or the other two. There's like
someone
two
said
guys that have
Shkreli.
the super majority voting shares. All three of
Martin
them are.
Shkreli.
Yeah, I think we can get Shkreli on.
I'm waiting for the day when Opinion manages to get Ryan Cohen on here. And just
Isn't
everything
Shkreli-
explodes.
Isn't Shkreli banned? Oh, please get Sam Bankman-Fried. Bankman-Fried said he would do a thing on Wall Street Bets before his attorneys got to him and told him to stop doing stop doing chats on.
We
Yeah.
were like a day away from having SBF come on to a morning talk. And then his
It
lawyer's
would.
just like, no.
He got arrested. It wasn't his lawyer. He got arrested by the authorities in the Bahamas the next morning. It was like, oh, never mind.
It would have been so good. We would have been like, how many crimes did you do? And he would have been like, all the crimes. Why?
Two deaths at Home Depot illustrate surge in organized retail crime. Maybe Target and the others are actually serious about shrinkage.
Didn't something come out recently? Maybe I'm mistaken, showing that Target was planning on shutting down stores, or maybe it was Walgreens, well before they made any claims about actual like shrinkage and loss of products, and they were just using that as an excuse to try to cover it up.
You
Well,
mean
I
like
mean-
Walmart?
I feel like there was something where like their CEO had a plan from 2 years ago to start these closings, and they just kept using the theft as like an excuse to be like, oh no, this is why. It's not because we're not selling enough.
I remember that news.
Hey, I didn't make it up. Go me.
Wow, Meta just announced its new Oculus VR headset coming in at $500.
What price?
$500?
Oh, that's like the Quest 2.
Yeah, they're keeping it at the same price, but with even more features.
Well, that's good.
Looks like their price is responding pretty well to the announcement. Up so far 1% today.
Oh. 65% of employers said that they had to fire Gen Z people because they're so hard to work with. And this was as of a survey of 1,300 hiring managers.
Apparently, making a TikTok in the middle of work just isn't appropriate. Well, I'm gonna head out and do job stuff, but y'all have a pleasant day.
Have a good one.
See you later, man. I think I'm gonna go grab a beer.
Ooh.
I'll be back.
This was just posted on one of the other subreddits. Jepi, Jepi, Juliet Echo Papa India. They dropped their dividend to 36.5 cents a share for June, which is a 14% drop from the previous month. So you might see some downsies on Jepi.
Oh yeah, people were just talking about that on value investing. They were like, "Is this the next value stock?" And typically, whenever the value investing subreddit mentions stock, it then immediately falls off a cliff. Anyway.
Oh, that's not good.
Here's today's beer. It's called Peanut Butter Chocolate Time. Looks like the peanut butter jelly guy from, the old school internet. And it tastes like a peanut butter cup. This will be my third beer of the year. It's June, so it's time to start.
Cheers.
Thank you.
It's your third beer, but what else have you been drinking this year?
Not alcohol, man.
I just got back from doing a study abroad in Germany, and I was like one of the only people who didn't drink at all on that trip. And there were guys that ordered like a full liter of beer. Came in the giant stein. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're going to have a bad time if you don't drink beer and you go to Germany.
I still enjoyed myself. There was plenty of food to eat.
Oh, yeah. Käse Spätzle.
Cheese? Oh yeah, I never had any of the cases Spätzle. I had plenty of schnitzel though. Oh, it was so good.
Bratwurst, Wiener Schnitzel, sauerkraut. Yummy. Good stuff.
We got this place here called Schmitz. And it's this German restaurant that's been open downtown, and it's been open since 1886. That's how long this place has been serving German food here in Central Ohio.
Oh, nice. Down in Germantown, they got a pretty nice German restaurant.
That sounds pretty freaking amazing. It almost makes me want to go up to Ohio.
Do you think you can take a wake boat out on Lake Erie? Might be too choppy.
It depends on the day.
No, I've never been to the Great Lakes.
If the wind is coming out of the south, you'll have no problem. But if it's coming out of the north or northeast, then it'll be really choppy.
Ooh. I don't think you could take a wake boat into that kind of chop.
No, I mean, and Lake Erie is very shallow too compared to the other lakes.
Yeah.
So it's really easy for the wave to like.
You call it a wake boat, but I'm guessing it's going to turn into a break boat, as in break your back and the boat.
It doesn't take much for the lake to kick up 6 to 8 foot swells.
Yeah, I don't want to get Edmund Fitzgerald on my little boat. Well,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Come on, Skull, get a bigger boat. You can't let Bezos outdo you.
Lake Erie's great for jet skis though when it gets wavy, when it gets choppy like that.
He's got a penis-shaped rocket. Get a penis-shaped boat.
Okay, Mongoose says always a great informative talk. Thanks all. Not sure if that was sarcasm. Anyway.
Oh, the gift that Bitcoin just put in the chat.
Oh, the ambiguously gay duel or whatever it was called. Gary and Ace, yeah.
Some guy in the chat just posted a bottle of some apple wine. Says it tastes like apple cider.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it looks like that one that he posted. It's a legitimate German apple wine, and must be imported. It's an impressive looking bar behind it too. Someone's man cave's pretty good. That was in Frankfurt. Well, I guess that explains why that's a real bar. Oh gosh.
I'm actually in the process of installing a tiki bar in my basement. Little tiki bar. I'm getting...
It was called Bulls and Bears. Oh gosh.
What?
The guy...
A place called Bulls and Bears? That's amazing.
Yeah. Desmond says that Chinese stocks are driving everything up.
We're talking about China?
What's going on with Carvana? I have to look this up. Oh my gosh, why are they at almost $15 a share again? They're up 15.5% today.
Jesus Christ.
So JPM bumped them up to a 15 price target, and the leaders of the S&P pretty much said give them unlimited credit.
Oh my god.
Give them unlimited credit. Jesus Christ.
That combined with the free float's like 50% short, so people are just buying into it. I have no idea why. I'm just using it as an opportunity to just add more short.
That's what the debt ceiling was for. 4 trillion to Carvana. Oh god.
4 trillion to Car- They're now twice the size of Apple. What?
Oh no. I don't remember when it was down to like $7 a share.
Bulls and bears.
Yeah, so here's just like an excerpt. S&P Global Ratings upgrades and revisions of the securitization loss assumptions due to capital structure, deleveraging, and outperformance of the S&P's initial assumptions.
It's going down. I don't know what to say about Carvana other than it's going down. I mean, as soon as we get into a place where like mass car repos start happening,
Oh, then they'll have something to put all their ghetto towers, and they'll be filled up again.
Right.
JPM listed them as a and outperform. Or sorry, JMP securities.
Someone's a bag holder.
yeah. From the people that bought a warehouse filled with rocks thinking it was nickel comes upgrading Carvana to a $15 price target. Fucking geniuses.
Well, you say that. I can't think of any reason why I shouldn't buy it. God.
God.
Oh dear. Got the whole 1 liter bottle for €10. That's not bad.
Tech companies are getting rid of free lunches. Oh no.
What?
How will the workers eat? They're going to have to pay for their lunches like a regular employee.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at these pictures of apparently the food at this bar, because they're saying it's pretty dang good.
I think I have that Gen Z work ethic, guys. Rip.
Oh, that Venus missile looks pretty good. Could use some gravy or sauce on it.
In the Gen Z
Ocean Bruce,
dictionary,
that looks pretty good.
work ethic is an oxymoron.
Here's how I work. If you give me equity, I'm working my ass off. If you don't give me equity, ChatGPT's DaVinci plugin is doing my job for you, and you're paying me a salary to run an API. Fuck off. Anyway, that's basically how it works.
That's right.
So some guy says, haven't even opened up the work laptop yet. Probably should.
Probably should.
If you want to get paid, maybe.
I just love this post-pandemic environment where people are just like, literally the other day, there was this guy taking a work meeting, and they were like, "Where are you?" And he was like, "I'm sorry, I can't pull that up right now. I'm on a boat." Like he just said it completely deadpan, and I'm like, we were trying not to lose it. This dude was taking a work call, and he was in the back of the boat. It was fucking hilarious. Just complete honesty. Sorry, I'm on a boat. Fair enough.
Some Alpine lake in Germany almost got ticketed by some German police on shore.
Oh.
He posted a video. I'm really worried about what's going to happen if I hit play.
It's just him rowing a boat.
Oh. It's definitely pretty.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. See, it was Friday. I was in a town. We took a train from Munich to a town called Fuss, and then a bus to a town called Schwanbrau. And there's a castle up there, and the views were really nice. Yeah. Yeah, Fussen.
Liquid leopard. That's just funny as hell.
Good times.
Guys, I'm such a lightweight now that I think I'm a little tipsy off of one beer. You know, there was a time. Yeah, empty stomach. Yeah, that's true too.
Carvana is more than 110% institutionally held. Oh no.
There was a time where I would drink 2 entire pitchers of beer at a rugby bar in Hong Kong and then just wander the streets saying, "I don't speak Chinese," right? And you know, those days are behind me. But you know, now I have one beer and I'm like, "Woo!"
Yeah, I didn't go in that castle, but I actually walked up to it. See if I can't get access to the photos. Oh no, because I don't know if I did photos or just video with my GoPro.
Yeah, those old castles are pretty amazing. The Habsburg family had them all over Europe. I went to a few
It
of them.
doesn't look like I've thrown any of the pictures on there. I guess I got a ton of media I still need to download on my GoPro. But yeah, I don't know if you went on it, but I think it's like the next town over. You can get there from the bus. There's a cable car that goes up the mountain, and then you can hike down the mountain to the castle. So I went on that cable car, and the views were spectacular.
Oh yeah. Like in a couple of the ones I went to, they still had all the weapons in the armories. That was kind of interesting to see, to think that all those pikes and swords and all that stuff was actually used in battles.
Yeah, I'll have to get the media downloaded from a GoPro, see if I can't get any of the stuff I took while I was over there.
How long were you there?
Bruh, I just used Photoshop's generative fill to fix my face. This is going to be next level Photoshop maneuvers coming in hot. Don't believe anything you see with your eyes anymore. It's all fake. It's all fake. It was all fake before, but now it's even faker.